I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I got the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
Human nature is a master at making a big mess. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th generation Safer Choice certified dish formula helps remove stuck-on food with one unstoppable pack. That's the power of 7th generation.
I work at Suncommon, and we are here today in Worcester on the north branch of the Winooski River, and we are planting 1,122 trees today.
The pandemic has left us spending less time together, and so this is really a good opportunity to connect with old colleagues and meet new people as well. And one of the reasons we're planting trees is because it does sequester carbon. It is about climate action, and so this is just another way that we get to do that work.
Trees are really important wildlife habitat in river areas. So this is what we call a riparian forest buffer is what we're creating today. In addition to all the wildlife habitats, this is a really good water quality project to slow down water and let some sediment drop out before it gets to the river. I know that planting this one tree might not do a lot, but when all of us work together, we just planted a whole forest, basically. It's really cool.
This is the first adaptive-friendly trail network that's being built from design to execution. Suncommon volunteers are here tonight, as well as some new volunteers from all around.
If you make a trail that rides well for an adaptive bike, it's going to ride well for two-wheeled bikes as well.
My name is Greg Durso, and I'm riding the Reactive Adaptations Hammerhead. There's a lot of common misconceptions when it comes to what adaptive or accessible trails are. For us though, when we say accessible, it just means enough room for our bikes to get down it. So we don't want our trails dumbed down, we just want them just a little bit wider, a little bit more attainable for us to use. I'm paralyzed, I'm a T4 paraplegic, so I can't walk. So this bike enables me to get out there and start riding. When I get out of my wheelchair and I get into my bike, I kind of feel like Superman, and I love that feeling. It gets me into places that I can never get into that my wheelchair can't take me.
Suncommon has been an amazing partner in this project. We already surpassed the point that we thought we would reach by the end of the season, and a lot of that's just thanks to Suncommon.
It takes a community, it takes a lot of people to be out there, and you're really doing good for everyone. You're sustaining these trails, making new trails, making mountain biking more accessible for everybody.
The goal here is net zero, so all of the energy consumed here I want to come from the roof, and I chose Suncommon very specifically. This is just a smarter way to buy energy. All my yard equipment is electric and battery operated. I mean, every morning when I come out now, I look back and I go, yep, that sunlight is falling from the sky and that energy is being put into that car as we speak, which, I don't know, doesn't get much cooler. Riding on sunshine.
The beauty of grass is that you have to look at it as every blade of grass being a solar panel. And that grass is absorbing sun's energy the entire time there's sun out.
Being a small farm, we don't have the scale of cash flows that a lot of larger farms have. So for us to be able to stay in business, it's important that we're able to utilize every one of our spaces as efficiently and as profitably as we can. Our rooftops were something that really hadn't served us any purpose, but now that they can actually produce the amount of electricity that we need to run the farm, that's just, it was a no-brainer. Dairy is something that I can firmly stand behind. I believe that it is very nutritious, very good for you, and done right, I believe that it's also good for the environment.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ryan Zimmerman alongside Vermont Green women's head coach and 2019 World Cup winner Sam Mewis ahead of the first ever Vermont Green FC women's friendly match. Sam, what does being the head coach of this team mean to you?
I am really honored to be a part of this. I think I just recently moved to Vermont and didn't really know what to expect in terms of like the soccer community, and I feel like I was welcomed and embraced into it so quickly thanks to UVM, thanks to the Vermont Green. Getting to know these girls the last couple of days has been so incredible. I feel like we've become a team really, really quickly. So I'm honestly just so honored to be here, to be a part of this, and to showcase this game with these players for this community.
What was the process like of putting this whole thing together?
Honestly, it started out similar to, I think, how Vermont Green as a club started out. We don't really know the origins of the whole thing. But when I agreed to coach, it all came together really quickly. The men's coach, Adam, was really involved in helping us find players. Obviously, the three founders were on top of everything regarding communicating to the players, communicating the schedule, getting us everything we needed, the gear, the fields. So it just kind of came about, and it feels like it's been really, really quick, but so much fun. And it was kind of just this quick thing that came together, and now here we are.
Obviously, there had to be a process of putting this team together, and although it wasn't as expansive or as long as it usually takes to put a team like this, you've managed to put together a team of really impressive college players. What was the process like of recruiting, sifting through all of the interest, and coming upon the 24 players you have taking the field tonight?
Yeah, I can't take much credit. Adam, the men's Vermont Green coach, did most of the kind of sourcing of players and communicating on getting them here. And then, of course, Sam, Patrick, and Matt kind of did all of the logistics. I'm really just along for the ride. Even coaching-wise, they've just given this group such incredible resources with Brad Agus and Lee, who's been helping out. So I feel really lucky to just be here and be a part of this whole thing and lending anything I can to the girls. But we do have some incredible players here from UVM, from Middlebury, from some colleges even further away. So we're so lucky with the talent that we have, and we're so excited to see them take the field.
You had such a short turnaround time from the players getting to Vermont to taking the pitch today, only 3 days of training leading up to the match. How were you putting your training sessions together to make sure these players were as match fit as they could be?
Yeah, I think, again, Brad Agus has done so much of this legwork. I think that this is really my first coaching experience, so I've just been trying to soak up as much knowledge as I can. Somebody like Brad, who has a lot of experience doing this, we just discussed ahead of time, how can we evaluate maybe the starting group? How can we evaluate the subs that we're going to definitely want to put into the game? It took us probably 24 hours to learn everybody's name. That was kind of a big first step. I know it sounds silly, but we didn't really know anybody, and these girls didn't really even know each other. So learning names, evaluating talent were kind of our first two big steps. And from there, we just tried to put an 11 together, get them some reps together, and instill a couple of principles that everybody could fall back on. So we'll see how it looks today.
How do you expect this team to play?
Us?
Yes.
Well, we talked a lot about like staying compact defensively, pressing when we can. We talked about maybe starting the game a little bit more direct. If possible, we definitely want to read what the opponent's giving us, but like our group, we didn't know much about. We don't know much about the other team either. FC Laval is coming from Canada. So we kind of want to read the first 10, 15 minutes of the game and figure out what we're up against. And then hopefully we can get some information out to the field about what we're seeing and what the girls can start implementing for the rest of the game.
Obviously, the match tonight is a lot more about the result off the field than it is on it, as this is a huge step towards building soccer equity balance in the state of Vermont. What does it mean to you that you get to spearhead this movement and show all the young girls in the stands that there is a pathway to get to the highest level of this game?
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, obviously I have some experience in the equal pay sphere. So when I first started talking to the founders about this, they were so thoughtful in their approach to it, wanting to make sure that they didn't start a women's program before they could ensure that everything would be equal. And hearing that right off the bat really made me trust them and made me aware that our values were aligned and that they were really thinking about this the right way. So I am so excited to be here. I'm so excited for all the kids here and all the people here to see this kind of product that Vermont can put out. I think it's super exciting, and hopefully in the future there's a lot more women's games to come.
Well, Sam, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck coaching these young women in the first ever Vermont Green FC Women's Friendly.
Thank you. Up the green.
Up the green. Vermont Green and FC Laval are kicking off next. Stick around for the first ever match in Vermont Green FC women's history. The stands at Virtue Field are packed, and the fans are ready to witness history. This is the first ever match in the history of Vermont Green FC Women's. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Vermont Green FC Soccer. My name is Ryan Zimmerman, alongside Vermont head coach and Vermont Sports Hall of Famer Christy Huizenga. Christy, this match is about so much more than the players on the field tonight. It's about all the fans in the stands. It's about the soccer community throughout the Green Mountain State, and it's all about representation.
Absolutely, and you can feel the energy in the air here tonight. You can see the energy and the players and the crowd. Could not be happier to be witnessing this tonight and ready for a great match.
Vermont Green is made up of a really talented roster consisting of some of the top players in the flagship programs throughout the state of Vermont, including your University of Vermont and Middlebury. Representatives from throughout the Green Mountain State, whether it's the players being from there or going to school there. And, of course, the big name is head coach Sam Mewis. You've been a member of the advisory committee, or you have been on the advisory committee with her putting this match together. Having a big name like that attached to a match like this only amplifies the exposure these ladies are going to get.
For sure. And you know, just talking to the players ahead of the match, when they first decided to do it, you could really feel the excitement to just be a part of this. And then just adding Sam, a World Cup champion, doing an amazing job on her podcast for the women's game, is just a tremendous opportunity for everybody in Vermont, for these players, and also for Sam.
This is just one of those matches that if you're a part of this, you're going to look back on it for the rest of your life and say, I was there. Regardless of the result, obviously Vermont Green and FC Laval both want to take the win in this friendly. But when you look back on it, this is the start of a new era of Vermont Green.
It is, and it's exciting, the momentum that women's sports has been gaining in general with just spectatorship, with coverage, and to be here for both teams with this crowd tonight and to have this support, the same support that they show the Vermont Green men, is just tremendous and is just really bolstering for these athletes.
It is a sellout, and the fans are at full voice to greet the Vermont Green starting 11. We'll take a short break. We'll take a short break, but when we come back, we'll introduce you to the starting 11 for both Vermont Green and FC Laval, and we will have kickoff for the first ever Vermont Green FC women's match in just a few moments. This is Vermont Green FC Soccer.
Human nature's ability to contain itself is questionable. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th Generation's bio-based detergent goes deep to help break apart and wash away tough stains. That's the power of 7th Generation.
We're just a few moments away from kickoff here at Virtue Field on this historic night in the Green Mountain State. Vermont Green and FC Laval are ready for the first ever match in Vermont Green FC women's history. Ryan Zimmerman here with you alongside Christy Huizenga as we take a look at tonight's starting 11s, beginning with the FC Laval side, a team that loves to attack, loves to use their wings to create scoring opportunities.
Yeah, and as we look at Vermont's crew, we see some familiar faces, some Vermonters, some fellow UVMers, and we've got a lot of speed and a lot of athleticism in our Vermont group as well.
Taking a look at that lineup, and throughout the roster in general, 7 players either play at Vermont or have played at Vermont, added another 5 from Middlebury, 12 from the state of Vermont in general, including a few Vermont natives who attend school out of state. And they're going to line up in a 4-3-3 as well with a loaded attacking front to match Laval's.
The exciting thing about this lineup is, again, that athleticism, that speed, that experience, and there's also a lot of talent on Vermont Green's bench. So when they go to sub, the game is probably going to continue to improve.
This is a solid roster from top to bottom, and the great thing about this being a friendly is that you're going to be able to see all of those players. I would imagine all 24 on the roster will see the pitch at one point or another during the match.
You would assume in an exhibition we'll see how the game plays out, what moves Coach Mewis decides to make, but it's a great problem to have as a coach to have this kind of depth on your roster.
She only had 3 days to prepare for this team, but for someone who's accomplished so much in the game, has so much knowledge to share, 3 days might be all she needed.
Yes, and these players are just ready to go. Just talking to some of them prior to the match, the training sessions were very intense. They were high quality. I know that they had to work around some weather a little bit, but no problem for these players and for this staff to be able to work through that.
The starting lineups have been announced. The two teams head back to their respective benches before we get this going. Christy, before we get started, this is a match between two teams that have obviously never seen each other. They didn't know they were going to play each other until the match was announced. How do you attack as Vermont Green going up against opposition you've only had a limited amount of time to prepare for?
I think that this is a unique situation for the Green, just having a one-off exhibition, whereas Laval, I would assume, even though their season is in its infancy and it's in beginning stages, that they probably have more time together. So for the Green, it's as much about feeling out the opponent as it is about feeling out themselves and still getting to know each other. I expect the first 10 minutes or so of the game to be an opportunity for them to work through that.
As the starting lineup salutes the fans, just listen to that cheer. These fans are so excited to support these ladies. FC Laval, to this point, they have played 10 matches, to your point. And as things stand in a loaded Group A in Ligue 1 Quebec, they sit in fourth place with 14 points, 4 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws. They've had some time to gel. It took a while for their entire roster to come together because of a lot of their players playing collegiately in America. But kind of like Vermont Green, like you said, they're still learning each other's tendencies. They're still figuring out how to play together. It's up to Vermont Green to exploit that.
Yes, and something that's interesting for Laval with this being a non-league game for them, there's really nothing to lose. So if you're the coach and if you're the players, you can play a little bit looser in this game. You can experiment. You can try new things if that's something that you're interested in. And for the Green, there may be a little bit of nerves. First time together, huge crowd, the pressure of representing your state. But I think for them and talking again to the players, that they're just so excited to be here and proud to be part of this experience.
It is nearly that time. Both head coaches, Sam Mewis for Vermont Green and Amro Radwan for FC Laval, get their final points in. We're just moments away from the first ever kick of a ball in Vermont Green FC women's history. This is sure to be an incredible night. There is Coach Mewis, a title I'm not sure she's used to just yet, but if all goes well tonight, who knows? Maybe she takes to it. She's certainly accomplished so much in the game already, a Women's World Cup champion with the 2019 U.S. national team. This is just another chapter for her in the beautiful game.
A lot of new things for Sam lately, coming out of her retirement with taking on the women's game and right into coaching now.
And there is kickoff. Vermont Green FC Women's is no longer an idea. It is no longer an initiative. It is officially reality. And we are underway at Virtue Fields. Dekari on the ball for Laval. And a foul called. Check that. Ball was out of play. A late whistle, but it awards Vermont Green a throw-in. At midfield, Vespa is dispossessed. Perhaps a chance upcoming for the Green, but organized defensively. FC Laval snuff it out. We'll see how the nerves play in. This is the first time these 11 have played together, like you said. This is the first time they've played in front of a crowd like this, in an environment like this. We'll see how quickly it takes for them to settle in, but given the talent in this 11, I don't think it'll take all that long.
I think with the depth on this Vermont Green team, again, once the game settles, it'll be more about how they're executing.
Of course, already 12 players in the squad for now in its infancy who go to school in Vermont. And here's one of them on the chance. Bailey Ayer racing after the through ball, but Chloe Joseph there for FC Laval to snuff it out. Right away, Vermont Green FC pulling no punches. They're going right on the attack.
Yeah, it's nice to see them put the opponent on their heels right away. And I think, again, as it starts to unfold, they'll start to feel out each other's strengths and weaknesses in this 11v11 scenario, which I'm not sure they had much time to get to in those 3 days.
The Vermont Green pressure forces a giveaway. And they're awarded a throw in the attacking third, and it's the Dominican Republic international Giovanna Dionisio to take it. We haven't touched too much in depth about how loaded this roster is, but the starting 11 could hold its own in the NCAA tournament theoretically. There is a lot of quality, including the woman on the ball right now, OVC Rookie of the Year, Neve Renwick. Here comes Emma Wenner. The College of Charleston transfer loses out to a strong challenge, and FC Laval might be on the counter. Lorianne Moyes carries the purple forward. Switches play right on the foot of Jean Yven and draws a foul on the edge of the box. FC Laval have a free kick in a dangerous position.
Indeed, a very dangerous position. We'll see if they have a lefty or a righty on the ball here. But this can be a very dangerous look for Laval.
A hard call for Vermont Green to concede. Emma Wenner got back from her right wing position to hunt Even down. Got a piece of the ball, but also got a piece of the shoe. It is Moyes on the free kick. Christy, if you were Moyes, what's the game plan here? How do you try and convert on this set piece?
I'm looking at the wall. I'm looking at the position of the goalkeeper.
She goes for a goal. It's right at the wall.
And the wall did their job.
Moyes right back on the ball. Plays the 1-2. And a strong challenge wins possession back for Vermont Green. And here they go on the counter. Nearly had Renwick through, but it falls to Wenner. Takes on her defender. Inside the box, goes down. And a goal kick.
You just get a little glimpse of the speed of Wenner there. Hopefully they can find her on the ball with more opportunities like that.
Perhaps a shout for a penalty, but at least from here it looked like a clean challenge, and Laval passed the first test with Vermont Green probing goal. Just over 4 minutes in, we've already seen both teams with attacking opportunities. The game has opened up very early.
It has. A lot of Laval's possession so far has been in their own half.
The captain, Cynthia Gaspar Freire, plays across field for Moyes. Into space and a whistle. The ball was already out of play. There is Roshan Purcell, one of the many Vermont natives on this roster, 6 to be precise. Check that. What I meant to say was one of the 12 who play college soccer in Vermont. She attends Middlebury. Through the middle of the park, Dekari. Swings it wide, Even. The captain, Liv White, marks her off the edge of the box. Her shot on goal deflected, and there comes the keeper, Olivia Dubin, to claim it. And that draws a cheer from the Green Mountain boys.
It's good organization there from the Green back line and easy catch for Dubin.
FC Laval have tried to play through their wings early as expected, cutting the defense with that through ball, but the Vermont Green back line has been ready. Off the far side, FC Laval assess their options. The center back Fournier opens up. They're content to play through their back line for now. Erica Bokhari. Through the middle, Dekari turns to collect the pass. Up the pitch, Fournier. Over the top, looks for Moise and gets on the end of the through ball. Into the box, Dionisio shields her away, and Vermont Green snuff out the attack. Once again, it's those wings, but Dionisio got in perfect position to prevent Moise a chance on net. There was head-to-head contact at the end of the play. Bailey Ayer and Erica Bocardi collided, and out come the training staff to check in on the FC Laval defender. Not an empty seat in the crowd to be found. This really is a banner night for soccer in Vermont. The community have done their part to show up.
It is, and you couldn't ask for a better night for soccer. The weather has held off. The air is a little humid, but it's cool. The field is dry. The players couldn't ask for a better night to play.
Fortunately for Bocardi, she gets up under her own power, and she remains towards midfield, itching to get back onto the pitch. This being a friendly, the substitution rules are a little different than it would be in a USL League 2 match when you watch the Vermont Green FC men's side. For this contest, it's a hybrid of the former NCAA rules. You can re-enter the match if you leave, but you can't do so in the same half. So Bocardi incentivized to get back on the pitch as soon as she was given the green light.
And you can start to see a little bit of the Greens' defensive strategy unfolding here. They're calm, they're patient, they're letting Laval swing the ball. They're allowing some probing passes, but they're not biting on everything. So this will serve them well in the long run.
They're content to just let Laval play through their back line. It's not hurting them. This is where they collapse. Dekari, a heavy touch with Maddie Landers right on her back. Renwick challenges Bocardi, but the latter wins out. But it doesn't take long for Vermont Green to win possession back. But a cheap giveaway, and FC Laval could be on the counter.
Uncharacteristic giveaway for Ayer. I suspect the more she gets on the ball and the more she gets involved in this game, we'll really start to see her come to life.
Laval press forward. The outside back, Chloe Joseph. She herself a Haitian international. Both outside backs already full senior internationals, which is really cool to see in a match like this. Players who have already played on the biggest stage internationally. There's the captain, Gaspar Freire. Over the top, Even. Looking for options. She has the underlapping Dumont, but not before the captain, Liv White, got there first. She's one of those players that falls into both camps, played her college soccer here at UVM. You coached her all 4 years. And also a Pittsford native, one of the original 5 who were selected to play in this match.
Yeah, and such a special opportunity for Liv and for the community. And Liv will be back at UVM for her 5th year. So fans will get to see her play again. And hopefully when the green gets going in 2025, Liv will continue on.
She really is a proud Vermonter. Vermont Green themselves posted a video where the players detailed what they're looking forward to most about this match. And she mentioned she's just excited to play with another former Vermont high school player who's on the bench right now in Josie Pecor. So safe to say the state of Vermont is very much in her thoughts tonight.
There's just such a camaraderie already amongst these players, and players going off to play for their various schools and in different places. So to have this opportunity to come together in their home state is something really special.
Ross wrapped her arms around Joseph. Referee's right there to call for a free kick, and Laval with the restart. Over the top, Vespa a little too far out of reach, easily dealt with by the Vermont Green defense. Wenner through for Renwick, a chance at history. Neve Renwick and Gentile stonewalls her inside the 6. Nearly the first ever goal in Vermont Green FC women's history, but Christina Gentile at full stretch denies it.
It's a beautiful, beautiful save. The through ball was beautiful as well. Renwick did great with her opportunity. Just narrowly missed, but they earn a corner out of it.
It will be the in-swinger. Lofted to the edge of the 6-yard box. It's over everybody's head, and the closest to it, Dumont, as FC Laval see it into touch. That was the first clear-cut scoring chance of the match. Emma Wenner placed that ball perfectly in Renwick's pass to set her through.
Another little glimpse of Wenner. It seems the two best chances they've had have both involved Wenner. So hopefully they can get both Wenner and Air going on those wings.
Man, College of Charleston is getting a heck of a player this fall. Wenner, another Vermont native. She hails from Milton, not too far away from here. Spent her first 2 seasons playing for another South Carolina school in Clemson. 3 goals, 2 assists this past fall before deciding to make the move to College of Charleston.
They are. Emma's a great player, and just the experience that she has at Clemson and prior to Clemson, she's going to bring a lot to College of Charleston. I know they had a tough season last year, but all the games were very close, and I suspect Emma will help turn that around for them.
Vermont Green win a free kick. It's Brenna Michaels, the Plattsburgh native, to take it. Floated towards the 6. Gentile got hands to it, and no one there to corral the rebound for Vermont Green. Could have been the opening goal, but a couple of the Vermont Green forwards overran it, but their chance not yet done. Here is Wenner once more. Low cross, not going to count. Ball was out of play.
You have to wonder, with only 3 days of training, how much the Green were actually able to train on set pieces, both offensively and defensively. So we see a couple here that they were narrow misses, not able to make much of it, but maybe the more reps they have throughout the game, they'll start to get a little more organized.
At the very least, it caused chaos. Gentile made the save, but an awkward one at that. Got a little help from the post to keep Vermont Green from opening the scoring. Fancy footwork from Gaspar Frere to evade Michaels, but the press still on. Touch through, Dionisio wins it ahead of Moyse. Here's Bailey Ayer. Her sister Riley will also feature today. Through over the top, Purcell hit it well out of the path of Michaels. This is a big night for Michaels too, not a Vermont native, but she's not from too far away, just across Lake Champlain in Plattsburgh. She mentioned ahead of the match how excited she is to play in front of family.
Yeah, and I can imagine that's the case for not only her, but several of these players here tonight. I know that some of their teams are even out in full force tonight, so it's always special to play in front of your peers and your family.
It's just a big moment of pride. They've made it to the highest level in the college game, and they get to share that with those important to them. Errant touch. Michaels couldn't control it with the left cleanly. So far through the first 15 minutes, Christy, what are you making of the way Vermont Green have come out and attacked FC Laval?
Well, they're certainly coming out with a lot of energy. They're able to win the ball back quite a bit. I think for them, one of the keys now is in transition. So can they break a line in transition? And that, when they do win it, is it just a flat pass or is it something that puts the defense on their heels right away?
Landers lofts towards Wenner. A little too strong, and Sophia Bellon was there. They are trying pretty much everything they can to get through the Laval back line, whether it's on the ground, through the air, and they're finding ways through, just missing that final breakthrough. Sixteen minutes in, Vermont Green and Laval exchanging blows. Still waiting for the opening goal. Here's the captain, Liv White. Landers with Dumont on her back. Can't save the out of bounds. Laval move quickly. Vespa, the San Diego State commit, loses out on that challenge. And a goal kick for Vermont Green. One thing you and I were talking about before the broadcast, energy was never going to be a concern for this team. You don't need to look too far for motivation, and this Vermont Green side has brought all the energy thus far.
Yeah, so it really becomes about, can we let the game settle, have our nerves calmed, start to understand the strengths and weaknesses of the players around us, and really just start to unlock our opponent a little bit. And I think we've seen the Green have most of the possession, or if Laval is possessing again, most of it has been in their half. So it's a little bit about patience and a little bit about just unlocking those weaknesses and those spaces that they can take advantage of.
A strong challenge results in a Laval throw. Liv White went to ground after being taken down from behind. Vespa won the ball. The fans maybe not as much in agreement with the referee on that one, but nothing comes of the Laval passage of play. Vermont Green, once again, their defensive organization has been on display, and that's really impressive for a team that's only trained 3 times together. Case in point, they were quick to dispossess Jeanne Yven. Vermont Green push further forward up the pitch, still in search of goal number 1 as we approach the 20-minute mark. Vespa for Laval. Footsteps from behind. Maddie Landers commits the foul. You still await our first subs. Just as a reminder, if a player is substituted in the first half, they cannot re-enter in the first half, but they can in the second. That will surely be weighing on both head coaches' minds as they look for that slight edge. Fournier wins the ball. Out to the right back, Joseph, one touched along. Moyes pushes forward. Around Dionisio, but not around Lexi Quinn. And Vermont Green once again suffocating defensively for this Laval team that loves their wing play. They have been a non-factor in the first 19 minutes plus.
Yeah, the Green have done a great job so far defensively, winning the ball back in most opportunities.
Dumont has a try from distance, but well high. No concern for the keeper Dubin there. That Laval's first shot attempt of the night. And Vermont Green can breathe a sigh of relief. Laval back in possession following the Vermont Green goal kick. Not for long, though, as Michaels looked for Renwick. but Gentile there to intercept the through ball and for the moment clear Laval's lines. White restarts quickly, took a deflection off of Laval, and she'll do it again 15 yards forward. Michaels over the top. Ayer was in the area, but Gentile there to collect uncontested. She's had a busy night through the first 20 minutes. Had a couple of really good saves to deny clear-cut Vermont Green chances. Here's Lexi Quinn. Michaels controls, draws some contact, referee blows play dead for a foul. Not shocked Michaels made that look easy. She's been known for her ability to play on the ball, so much so that she turned it into an Instagram account that at this point has 125,000 followers. So her ability to unlock defenses and show off the skills is very well documented, to say the least.
It is just her technical ability, as she clearly puts in the work. And we've already seen it in this game so far, her ability to just turn on a dime. Love to see her get on the ball more centrally and start running at the back line.
By the way, if you want to add to that total, it's at Skills Challenge on Instagram. The majority of Laval's passing through transition have been over the top. Vermont Green equal to that last attempt, as once again they move further forward up the pitch, this time on the near side. Renwick on the chase, but the Laval captain Gaspar Freire sees it into touch. Still yet to see the first breakthrough. 0-0 between Laval and Vermont Green through the first 22 minutes. And perhaps it looks like Laval will be the first to get their bench active. It looks like they have a sub up. Rather, that was only to get Lorianne Moist some Gatorade. Vermont Green on the attack. Deflects off of Landers and into the safe arms of Gentile. Quick restart, spreads it wide. Moist retreating from her wing position to receive. Bad giveaway. Renwick has a pop. Couldn't quite get the connection right. Renwick nearly makes Laval pay for a misplaced pass in their defensive third.
I like that by Renwick there. Sometimes just catching the goalkeeper off guard with a quick turn and an early shot like that is all you need. Obviously, she would like that opportunity back. She mishit it a bit, but you could see even from our angle the swerve on the ball.
Renwick, the only international player on this Vermont Green team, a Sheffield, England native, played through her youth in the Sheffield United Academy, and her game has translated so well in the college level. Laval across, no one on the receiving end, and it's there for Dionisio to deal with. Laval continue their attack. Joseph, the Oklahoma State cowgirl, loses out. Ayler took it right off her foot. And for the moment, Vermont Green can press the clearance only as far, though, as Gaspar Freire.
It was a good defensive adjustment by Ayer. I think she initially got sucked in towards the thrower, quickly adjusted as the service went back to Joseph to prevent a longer service into the box.
Vermont Green have been equal to the Laval through balls on this last possession, but another chance for Dumont. Vespa cuts it back on her right, runs right into Landers. A strong challenge for the soon-to-be Miami Hurricane. Gaspar Freire. Volcardi in space. Good to see her operating at full capacity after taking that knock to the head about 15 minutes ago. Spreads it wide. Joseph cuts in. She has Dekari. Moyes peels inside. Right into a cavalcade of Vermont Green defenders. They come away with the ball. Their clearance only as far as Fournier. Lofted into the box over Purcell, but Quinn, a clearance with her thigh. Laval regroup. Bocardi in space. Through the middle, Dumont. Vespa with Purcell on her back, and Quinn completes the clearance. Laval have tried that same ball through the middle a couple different ways, but the center back pairing of Quinn and Purcell have been equal to the task.
We've seen Laval getting a few more reps on the ball here in the Greens attacking half, which we haven't seen so far this game. So we'll have to see what the Green decide to do, if they want to start pushing out their midfield to get a little more pressure on the ball, or if they're content letting Laval possess here.
For the moment, they haven't allowed any big chances. The only shot to this point was the Natalie Dumont shot from about 25 yards that sailed comfortably over the bar. They've slowed down the tempo quite a bit. Vermont Green still continues to press, but they're respecting Laval on the ball. Here's a through ball forward. White deals with it. The header only as far as Descaries. Vespa over the top. Yven looks to run onto it, but an authoritative claim sees the end of that passage of play. Dubin quick off her line.
Good communication and a good reaction there by Dubin. It could have become not so simple of a play without her being assertive off her line.
Laval have their subs active. As you saw on your screen, they're beginning to warm up. We'll see who head coach Amro Radwan turns to first off the bench. On the Vermont Green side, though, head coach Sam Mewis content to roll with her starting 11 for the moment. But the 13 reserves watching raptly right in front of the covered bench. Descaries through the middle, Moise, but Dionisio turned to collect and clear for the moment. Laval still dangerous in attack. Melina Descaries with the left towards the edge of the box. But Yven could not corral it. It's there for Dubin to pick up. "27 minutes, 40 seconds in. Vermont Green have had the lion's share of good chances, but we remain scoreless at Virtue Field. Renwick runs onto the header. She might be through on goal. Bocardi, a last-ditch clearance attempt, takes the ball off her foot. That had to be inch perfect, and it was.
It's a great tackle.
Here come Laval the other way. Keane runs right, Moise runs right into Quinn. And just like that, the quick Laval counter dissolves. Quinn over the top. Renwick tried to flick it on, but it just skimmed the top of her head right to Gaspar Frere, and here come Laval. Descaries. Vespa cuts in on her left. Switches play. White gets there before Yven. Lainey Ross the clearance, and Laval have to retreat. Back into the Vermont Green half. Vespa's pass intercepted Renwick. A nice piece of skill to get away from Bocardi, but only for the moment. Laval defense regroups. Renwick content to see it over the line for a corner. That gets the crowd on their feet. Renwick has been terrorizing the Laval back line throughout this match. It just feels like a matter of time before she breaks through.
You can see with the athleticism and speed of both Wenner and Renwick that they have the ability to instantly put the back line on their heels.
Michaels to take the in-swinging corner towards the near post, and it's cleared off the line.
Love that little flick by Wenner.
Nearly the opening goal, but FC Laval was alert. So we get another look. A well-worked set piece. Wenner got the touch. Check that. It was Gentile. A sprawling save. We'll try it again. Laval deals with it for the moment. The clearance as far as the edge of the box. Still chaos as Moise loses out. Ball deflects off of her for a corner, this time on the far side.
We'll see if they can get another look here. They've got a great in-swinger from this side.
Michaels took the last two with her right. She'll do the same on the far side with her left. Vermont Green lines the edge of the 6-yard box. Lofted in. Purcell, the header, could not direct it goalwards. It took a deflection. Vermont Green will have another corner, their fourth in the last minute or so. We've passed the half-hour mark at Virtue Field. Vermont Green is finding their footing offensively. They continue to hammer the Laval goal. Christina Gentile has stood tall. I think perhaps Vermont Green might have gotten lucky on that one, but they'll take it. Floated towards the near post. Wenner, and a strong block results in another corner. This time it was Bocardi getting into position. The fans can sense it. Vermont Green, another bite at the apple, their fifth consecutive corner. It's drilled to the near post. Wenner looked to center it, but no one in green there on the other end. Renwick runs it down outside the box. Peruses in, runs into a defender, and it's the captain, Gaspar Frere, to finally snuff out the lengthy Vermont Green attack. Even sparks the Laval counter. On the floor, Fournier. Threw back towards Vespa, but White outstretched her left leg and got a piece of it.
Really important touch there from White. You can be so susceptible to counters off of those corners.
That free kick will trigger two Vermont Green changes. Jill Brody and Carolina Espinosa, the first ever subs for Vermont Green FC Women's. We'll see who they're on to replace in just a few moments when they get the referee's approval.
These are going to be very exciting substitutions for the Green. Brody is going to match the speed of Wenner and Renwick up there, if not more. She's got a ton of pace, so they're now, with her coming in for air, all three forwards are going to possess a ton of speed.
Joining air, that is Landers. Vermont is adding on the offensive firepower. Both of those players, Ayer and Landers, looked very good through the first 33 minutes. But head coach Sam Mewis just tinkering with the lineup to try and break through.
You can see with that switch, they've switched Wenner's side to the left, and with the Wenner being a righty, we'll see how much she is able to cut in on that right foot.
Fournier. Joseph, one-on-one with Dionisio. Finds Dekari through the middle. Here's Moise. Heavy touch. Falls right to the sub, Brody. Before the clearance, only as far, though, as the Laval defense. Fournier flicks forward, Even. White, a sliding challenge. And that draws a whistle. Safe to say the fans thought that was clean.
It looked clean, so a little bit unfortunate there for Liv White.
She beat Vespa to the ball. Looked like she got her right foot in there before making contact. Laval will look to capitalize on the good fortune. The free kick floated in. Quinn there to deal with it for the moment. Laval can't find the ball, but Vermont Green can. Joseph keeps the attack alive. Moise looking to evade Dionisio, but the two Caribbean internationals lock horns. Dionisio comes out victorious and draws a foul. Not just Caribbean bordering countries, in fact, the Dominican Republic and Haiti. 10 minutes remain in the first half, plus time added on for injuries and stoppages. Michaels the flick-on header intended for Renwick, but Bocardi got her body in the way. Renwick is starting to find herself even more involved. They're playing a lot on the offensive side through her.
She's done well to get herself on the ball, not only in the central part of the field, but she's found herself on the ball on the wings as well. So just her mobility up top alone is very helpful to the green.
A triple sub upcoming for Laval. Sierra Jansen and Mika Maroli see the pitch for the first time. Jasmine Gerber, the third, to conclude the trio of subs. So Laval uses 3 subs, countering Vermont Green's 2. Give them a lot of credit. Vermont Green have pressed throughout the first 35 minutes, but that defense is yet to crack.
They have, and something that's really working in the Greens' favor right now is having Brody out on that right wing. We haven't had an opportunity to see it yet, but she is absolute lightning out there. So I think if the Green can get Renwick on the ball and spring Brody through, it should be a lot of excitement.
Brody's been one of the main features of the Vermont side over the last 3 years. Yours, I should say, not Vermont Green. And she just provides that leadership quality that I'm sure every head coach loves.
It's so great to have, and we've all been fortunate to have so many fifth-year seniors on the roster the last several years with the extra COVID year. It's been really, really nice to watch them grow in those leadership roles.
If I'm not mistaken, this upcoming season is the last year in which players can be granted that 5th year of eligibility due to COVID, and it's been a blessing in disguise. They get to grow into these roles. They get to develop as players, but also leaders and people. Here comes Jansen on the attack. Aaron touched Dubin off her line to prevent a shot attempt, and she took a lot of force from that challenge. Good sportsmanship there from Jansen to make sure she was okay, but that is an excellent piece of goalkeeping there. Dubin quick off her line to smother the Laval attack.
Good, strong hands by Dubin. That's exactly what you want to see out of your goalkeeper in those situations. Brings a lot of confidence to the back line as well.
It was definitely a competitive battle amongst the 3 goalkeepers on the roster, Dubin, Carolyn Kelly, and Erin Murphy, who I'm sure we'll also see in this match. But Dubin, a 3-year starter at Holy Cross. She understands what it takes to be an impact player at this level, and she's shown that when she's been called upon. We'll see her with her feet as Quinn retreats back for the Vermont Green goalkeeper. Purcell over the top in search of Renwick. Gaspar Frere a little uncomfortable with it, and it falls for Michaels. Through ball, snuffed out. But it deflects. Back for the Green, it's Espinosa. Purcell once more. Over the top, Renwick gets ahead to it, but Bocardi clears. Just over 6 minutes left in the first half, plus stoppage time. Vermont Green feels like the breakthrough is close. Low cross, Brody couldn't find a target on the other end. But the consolation prize of the Laval clearance is a throw-in.
You can start to feel the pressure. You can start to feel and see Laval starting to collapse into their own half.
Renwick in front of the Vermont Green fans. Takes on Gaspar Frere. Her cross takes a deflection. Vermont Green have another corner. A throw-in, my apologies. Brody cannot evade Bellon the first time, but does win a throw. As soon as she came in, Brody has been active on that right wing. She's unlocked that side of the Laval defense. Just hasn't been too many options for her to distribute the ball.
And now that Laval's collapsed into their end a little bit, we won't really be able to see that top end speed from Brody, but we should be able to see some flashes and bursts of that quickness that she brings as well.
Vermont Green switch play. It's with the Brown defender, Quinn. Michaels slipped, lost her footing trying to corral that pass, but the Vermont Green press wins the ball back. It's Espinosa, the sub, who came in alongside Brody, who's done her part in the midfield. Renwick runs on to the through ball. Into the box she goes. Renwick looking for options. A slide tackle dispossesses her only as far as Lainey Ross. Dionisio on the left side. Quinn opens up. Bumps as she released the ball. A late whistle results in a foul. The defensive back pairing, or rather I should say center back pairing of Quinn and Purcell, no missteps through the first 41 minutes. They have been fantastic.
They've been incredibly solid all half. They've been calm and composed offensively. Defensively have really not allowed much. And again, the Greens still have a lot of depth in the back on their bench as well.
Michaels to take this free kick, drills it in towards the edge of the 18 where Laval deal with it, but they've got to break through the Vermont Green press. Michaels wins it back. Renwich, a one-touch for Dionisio near the corner flag. Working towards the end line, takes a touch around Maroli. But Bocardi helped late. Vermont Green have already their 7th corner.
Love that. Clever little move by Dionisio, and that's something that you really want to see out of your outside backs. If your outside backs can get forward and earn opportunities like this, you're going to have much more attack.
Laval deals with the Michaels corner initially. They force the Green back a bit, but still a throw. Michaels takes quickly to the target, Ross. Drilled in towards Wenner. A little confusion initially, but Gentile there to claim it for Laval.
And not a bad idea by Ross. Sometimes those balls that land in that in-between space right around the penalty spot between the back line and the goalkeeper can be very difficult to deal with.
Laval back to work offensively. It's Dekari leaving it along for Bellon to deal with. On the floor, Ross got her right foot in the way, thumps it forward. Renwick runs onto it, but Gaspar Freire beat her there. The Laval captain has been the rock of that back line. Vermont Green have had their chances, but they haven't been at Gaspar Freire. Lofted into the box. No trouble for Laval. 2 minutes of stoppage time expected as this first half, a thrilling one at that, nears its conclusion. Vermont Green 0, Laval 0, but not for a dearth of chances.
And if you're the Green, you're inside of 2 minutes here. You've had the majority of the possession and the opportunities. You're looking to get one before
Renwick,
half.
offside. A talented forward, but perhaps in another life she could be a goalkeeper. She got her hands up quickly after the whistle and actually caught that ball before Gentile had a chance.
Stranger things have happened.
Not quite in hand of God territory. I think the referees would notice in live play if someone held the ball that wasn't the goalkeeper. But hey, maybe if Renwick wants, that might be something she can take on in training at Tennessee Tech back in the fall. Bocardi. Dekari along for Joseph. Wenner on her back. Plays it along the floor. Jansen was offside. Dubin made an excellent save, but it will not count. Jansen released her run just a tad early. Our MC Tom Proctor just echoed our sentiments. Dubin didn't know that. She still made an excellent save.
And a lucky break there for the Green. A counter like that would have been just gutting right before the half.
It's usually the worst time to concede. You're about to put your team talk together and you have to change it like that on the fly. and all the momentum just dissolves if you give up that goal.
And we often see the play with Renwick down on the Laval goalkeeper. You often see a play like that followed right up by another play on the other end.
We are into stoppage time at Virtue Field as expected. 2 additional minutes before both teams take their halftime break. Still no goals, but Vermont Green have come close. Christina Gentile has been called upon early and often, and she has been the rock that Laval have needed to keep this match scoreless. If not for her, it could easily be perhaps 2 or 3-0.
For as solid as the Green defense has been, Laval has been equally as solid with the amount of pressure that's being put on them by the Green.
Bocardi's clearance, Dionisio snuffs it out. Wenner finds Renwick. Can't quite direct the shot goalwards. Renwick perhaps thought it took a deflection. Instead, it's a goal kick. Vermont have won the ball back time and time again in the attacking third. They just haven't quite gotten the quick counter off the right way. And as we speak, there is the halftime whistle. An entertaining first half comes to a close, albeit without a goal. But Christy, both teams have shown some quality play through the first 45 minutes.
It's been a great game so far. A lot of opportunities, especially for the Green, of solid defending on the part of both teams. So really going into the second half, it'll be interesting to see how both coaching staffs utilize their substitutions and any changes that they are going to make heading into the second half to really try to exploit what they're seeing defensively.
We're still waiting on the first ever goal in Vermont Green FC women's history, but it will have to come in the second half. We'll step aside for the moment, but the halftime report is next. It's Vermont Green 0, FC Laval 0. This is Vermont Green FC Soccer.
Solar. When we decided that we were going to use a commercial company instead of doing it ourselves, which was an option, I did research on SunCommon because I don't know that I trust lots of solar power companies. And, you know, it's a big project. There's so many things that can go wrong. I wanted a company that I felt good about.
We're filming.
We understand what local issues are.
Other credit unions might offer like the VHFA and the Champlain Housing Trust, but it's cool that we have our own product.
It's called home ownership made easier. It essentially gets somebody into a house who does not have a down payment. There's a lot of lenders who are not willing to take a look at the type of transactions that are going in there. But the fact is Vermonters live in those communities.
Every second, Vermonters spend $20 with Amazon. That's $20 going to someone you don't know and will never meet. You are just an order number to Amazon. $20 every second. That means every minute, Vermonters are spending $1,100 with Amazon. You might as well throw it in the trash. It's time to change. Let's keep this $1,100 in our Vermont economy. Mighty is an online shopping platform that keeps money in the local community. You order things, it comes from independent retailers nearby, it's dropped to your doorstep. Together, we can change online shopping for good. Visit Mighty, MYTI.com to get started.
Make progress by doing the things you love. If you can farm, fight food deserts. If you can surf, surf for racial justice. Like to read? Start a banned book club. protest with an ice cream cone, or project new meaning on an outdated statue. Get in a costume, but try not to get arrested. You have the tools for doing good, and the greatest tool is your own unique flavor. Ben & Jerry's.
Make some mother truckin' change.
Human nature's ability to contain itself is questionable. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th Generation's bio-based detergent goes deep to help break apart and wash away tough stains. That's the power of 7th Generation.
The sauce.
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I got the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
Human nature is a master at making a big mess. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th Generation's Safer Choice certified dish formula helps remove stuck-on food with one unstoppable pack. That's the power of 7th Generation.
I work at Suncommon, and we are here today in Worcester on the north branch of the Winooski River, and we are planting 1,122 trees today.
The pandemic has left us spending less time together, and so this is really a good opportunity to connect with old colleagues and meet new people as well. And one of the reasons we're planting trees is because it does sequester carbon. It is about climate action, and so this is just another way that we get to do that work.
Trees are really important wildlife habitat in river areas. So this is what we call a riparian forest buffer is what we're creating today. In addition to all the wildlife habitats, this is a really good water quality project to slow down water and let some sediment drop out before it gets to the river. I know that planting this one tree might not do a lot, but when all of us work together, we just planted a whole forest, basically. It's really cool.
This is the first adaptive friendly trail network that's being built from design to execution. Suncommon volunteers are here tonight, as well as some new volunteers from all around.
If you make a trail that rides well for an adaptive bike, it's going to ride well for two-wheeled bikes as well.
My name is Greg Durso, and I'm riding the Reactive Adaptations Hammerhead. There's a lot of common misconceptions when it comes to what adaptive or accessible trails are. For us though, when we say accessible, it just means enough room for our bikes to get down it. So we don't want our trails dumbed down, we just want them just a little bit wider, a little bit more attainable for us to use. I'm paralyzed, I'm a T4 paraplegic, so I can't walk. So this bike enables me to get out there and start riding. When I get out of my wheelchair and I get into my bike, I kind of feel like Superman, and I love that feeling. It gets me into places that I can never get into that my wheelchair can't take me.
Suncommon has been an amazing partner in this project. We already surpassed the point that we thought we would reach by the end of the season, and a lot of that's just thanks to Suncommon.
It takes a community, it takes a lot of people to be out there, and you're really doing good for everyone. You're sustaining these trails, making new trails, making mountain biking more accessible for everybody.
The goal here is net zero, so all of the energy consumed here I want to come from the roof, and I chose Suncommon very specifically. This is just a smarter way to buy energy. All my yard equipment is electric and battery operated. I mean, every morning when I come out now, I look back and I go, yep, that sunlight is falling from the sky and that energy is being put into that car as we speak, which, I don't know, doesn't get much cooler. Riding on sunshine.
The beauty of grass is that you have to look at it as every blade of grass being a solar panel. And that grass is absorbing sun's energy the entire time there's sun out.
Being a small farm, we don't have the scale of cash flows that a lot of larger farms have. So for us to be able to stay in business, it's important that we are able to utilize every one of our spaces as efficiently and as profitably as we can. Our rooftops were something that really hadn't served us any purpose, but now that they can actually produce the amount of electricity that we need to run the farm, that's just, it was a no-brainer. Dairy is something that I can firmly stand behind. I believe that it is very nutritious, very good for you, and done right, I believe that it's also good for the environment.
I think we're at the point now that it'd be crazy not to have solar. When we decided that we were going to use a commercial company instead of doing it ourselves, which was an option, I did research on Suncommon. Because I don't know that I trust lots of solar power companies. And, you know, it's a big project. There's so many things that can go wrong. I wanted a company that I felt good about.
Both teams continue to talk it over as the fans cheer on the youth players on the fields. Halftime at Virtue Field. It's Vermont Green 0, Laval 0. Ryan Zimmerman here with you alongside Christy Huizenga. And Christy, despite the fact that we're goalless, Vermont Green played an excellent first half, and it just feels like they're on the verge of breaking through the Laval back line.
It really does, and as the half started to wear on, you could just see the pressure, you could feel the pressure, especially with those subs coming in. A lot of relentless pressure up there from Renwick as well, all half. She went the full half. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Mewis and her staff do here at halftime to make these adjustments.
Taking a look at the stats, it is one-sided in the sense that Vermont Green have had the majority of shots, had the majority of attacking chances. You see those 7 corners. But Laval's defense has needed to be perfect to shut down the Vermont attack, and they have, especially the goalkeeper, Christina Gentile. It looks like she will not play in the second half, but if this is the end of her night, this is a night she can be proud of.
It sure is. She was great back there for them. When we talk about goalkeepers, we want them to make all the saves that they should make and then some of the ones that they shouldn't. She certainly did that in the first half.
Vermont Green is nearly there. It just feels like the energy in this crowd will will them on in the second half. They have been a big factor in this match as well. But can they help them over the line and get them onto the score sheet to pick up 3 points in their first ever match. We'll find out in just a few moments. The second half is coming up next. This is Vermont Green FC Soccer.
Human nature's ability to contain itself is questionable. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th Generation's bio-based detergent goes deep to help break apart and wash away tough stains. That's the power of 7th Generation.
Both sides have talked things over, and we're just about ready for the second half of the first ever Vermont Green FC women's match. It's Vermont Green 0, Laval 0 as we get set for the second 45 minutes. Ryan Zimmerman here with you alongside Christy Huizenga. Christy, a lot of quality play in that first half, especially on the Vermont Green side. And now you have to take into account the benches. How can both teams optimize their subs to finally break onto the score sheet?
Yeah, so the strategy, really could be different for both squads, but if I'm Vermont Green, I may bring some of those starters into the game in the second half, maybe extend the rest a bit. They did just get these 15 minutes, but they are so deep. So you could see the impact of Brody and Espinosa when they came in on just those tired legs of Laval. So I think that if they utilize their depth a little bit, they may be able to continue to pour on that pressure that we were seeing late in the second half.
If you're just tuning in, to refresh you on the substitute rules, re-entry is allowed, but you cannot come out and return in the same half. So if Vermont Green makes a substitute, that player cannot feature in the second half again. That presents an interesting challenge, and Coach Mewis has been around this game a long time. She's won everything there is to win, 3 times an NWSL champion, an NCAA champion at UCLA before that, of course, the 2019 Women's World Cup champion. She's seen her team for 45 minutes, and perhaps she understands exactly who she has available to get that first goal on the board.
And she does. And Ryan, something we were chatting about at halftime was just the, having 3 days again to get to know these players. And, as a coach, there can be times where you go months or a year even by playing players in a different position, and then all of a sudden you see them come to life in a different position. So for Coach Mewis and her staff, they're really, this is on the fly for them. So we'll see what they thought of the first half and see what they want to change for the second.
One substitute we know for sure, as anticipated, Christina Gentile is out of net for the second half. Vermont Green will face Melina Lynch, who competes at the college level at Vanier College in RSEQ in Canada. So perhaps facing a goalie who's coming off the bench cold could give this Vermont Green team a boost. The Green break their final huddle. Both teams change ends, and we are ready for the second half at Virtue Field. Looks like one change to the back line for Vermont Green. Giovanna Dionisio is out for the moment. They're going to play a back three of White, Purcell, and Quinn. Already, Coach Mewis makes the first chess move. She wants to attack.
And we'll have to see this unfold. That may have been just for the kickoff. It looks like they're now back into their back four.
It looks like you're right. They have returned to their original shape, perhaps just to try and conjure an opportunity straight away. But Laval cleared the initial through ball, and now Vermont Green their second opportunity. White lobs it towards the edge of the box. Headed away, it was Cynthia Gaspar Freire. Gerber chests it forward. Laval maintained possession for the first time in the second half. One interesting thing to note, this match cannot end in a draw. If both teams remain on level footing at the end of the 90 minutes, we will immediately go to a penalty shootout. One team will leave here a winner. Landers through the middle. Vermont Green may just have their first chance of the second half. Ayer glides past her defender, tries her luck, but it sails high of Lynch's goal. There is that attacking intent. Bailey Ayer, as we were talking about during the halftime break, not normally a left winger, but she has settled into that position comfortably here tonight.
Beautiful through ball, beautifully weighted pass by Landers. Ayer getting on the end of that, and she just loves to cut into that right foot.
Perhaps this could be an emotional night for her on a couple of levels. Her sister Riley features amongst the reserves. They don't play together collegiately. Bailey, of course, goes here at the University of Vermont. Riley at Southern Connecticut State.
Yeah, and I have to think the last 3 days of training have been interesting and fun for those two to be able to play on the same field and same team together again.
There's no way the competitive juices weren't flowing between those two.
No way. No way. I wonder how many phone calls their parents have gotten in the last couple days.
You're never too old to have to break up a fight between siblings. Here's a probing ball over the top. Renwick runs onto it, but Lynch off her line to clear. That was the only way Laval could have kept Renwick from being free on net. But Lynch immediately into the game. She's been called upon, and she's passed the first test. Belong. Gaspar Freire plays right back to her. Congestion in midfield. Dumont a roulette to find her way around Ross before the recovery results in a deflection out of play. 3 minutes in. Still the same story as the first half. Vermont Green have controlled the pace of play.
And I love to see the Green getting those 2 early chances. Something we didn't see a lot of until the end of the first half was them really testing the back line and getting in behind. And so now already twice we've seen it in the opening minutes.
Renwick battles in the air. Ballon wins out. She is down. I don't think the referees have spotted it just yet. Now they have. And she will receive some medical attention. Hopefully she's okay. A robust challenge between her and Renwick. No ill intention, Bellon just got the business end of it. Fortunately, she's right back up on her feet. She has to exit the pitch for the moment, and it looks like Laval will take no chances. Jessica Drogini takes her place, her first action of the night. Drogini is one of the many players on this Laval team that play collegiately in the United States. She is the only one, however, that features at the D2 level as she represents Spring Hill College. Vermont Green win possession back after the errant Laval pass. We approach 50 minutes of this friendly. Still no goals, but it feels like Vermont Green are on the verge of the breakthrough. Michaels, an enticing through ball. Wenner can't run into it. Bocardi beats her to it. Still, though, a Vermont Green throw-in applies pressure on the Laval defense.
And again, another example of getting that back line to backpedal, and the more pressure the Green can put on the Laval defense early, the more they're going to start to unlock them.
Michaels towards the edge of the 6. Laval deals with that. Renwick was right on Bocardi's back, but Bocardi has been able to hold her own against Renwick through the first 5 minutes in the second stanza. Lofted over the top. Ross can't connect with her intended target, Wenner, and a Laval goal kick upcoming. There you get a look at the Vermont Green subs. A lot of excellent players for Coach Mewis to choose from. You were, of course, Christy, a member of the advisory committee. You had a lot of influence over the non-UVM players that feature in this side. And, well, I hate to suck up to the color commentator too much, but you did a heck of a job picking this team. Coach Mewis is sport for choice.
It's always a good problem to have when you have more talent than you do spaces on the field. So, again, I'm just excited to see how this unfolds with how they decide to use their substitutions. They've got a lot of speed and a lot of experience on their bench, which should pay off for the Green.
Laval in transition, Jansen an errant touch, but Dekari there to bail her out. Another attempt at the through ball, but the only one close to it. Lexi Quinn and Vermont Green win it back. Renwick challenges in the air with Bocardi off the edge of that Quinn pass and comes away victorious. Deflected off of Dumont, and Renwick draws a free kick.
And I'm not sure if it's something they've spoke about at halftime, but it looks like Renwick's been a lot more involved. She was involved quite a bit in the first half, but it looks like she's coming a little bit deeper back into the midfield and getting on the ball much more than she was in the first half.
Definitely a forward tendency that if you don't feel like you're getting involved enough, getting your chances in the attacking third, you look to create it yourself, dropping deeper and starting those moves more towards the midfield rather than in the attacking areas.
Right, and so as this unfolds, if we continue to see Renwick dropping deep, the key will be having Wenner and Air slicing in behind to fill in that gap that was created by checking Renwick.
Michaels runs on to the header. A one-touch lofted ball. Renwick races after it, as does Gaspar Freire. Renwick with 3 Laval bodies away from her, and it took all 3 to dispossess. It was Fournier. Joseph for Laval. Dekari with pressure on her back. Landers and Air combine to win it back. They wanted Ayer on the quick through ball. Tic-tac-toe passing. But that last element a little off, and Laval can breathe a sigh of relief for the moment. Michaels on the UVM logo at midfield. The Green play through their defense for the moment, but Laval starting to press. Jansen wins the ball away from Quinn, and here come Laval. Jansen went down. Quinn's recovery earns a throw for Vermont Green. They restart play quickly. Laval is starting to find their footing themselves. A takeaway in the attacking third. Even. Low cross drilled in towards the edge of the 18. Dumont a chance, but Dubin equal to it. An important save keeps this match scoreless.
Very well held by Dubin. That was an important hold. She gives up that deflection. That's just another chance for Laval.
There was plenty of space for the cutback. Excellent delivery right on Dumont's right foot. Dubin had a clear sight line, saw it the whole way, made it look comfortable. Vermont calling to slow things down. Coach Mewis wants this team to play possession a little bit more. Quinn through the middle, takes a deflection right for Renwick. On her right, Lynch catches chest high. Renwick is right back in the middle of the Vermont Green attack. Just another shot on goal for her. She has had quite a few. One back momentarily in the midfield, but Laval right on top of it. Over the top. Ross the first to the errant ball, but runs right into Dekari. Weaves through traffic. Laval content to play through their back line. It's the center back, Bocardi.
So, just an interesting tactical switch here. It looks like Wenner and Renwick may be playing up top together, but stacked. So you can see how Wenner is underneath Renwick right now, and Michaels has moved out to the right wing, Bailey Ayer on the left wing. So it looks like a small change here in their formation for the Green.
Here's another look at the latest Renwick chance. After Gaspar Ferreira had that errant touch, she played the angle perfectly. Vermont Green on the move again, and it's Renwick. Look towards the left wing Ayer, but couldn't evade the defense. Wins it right back. Renwick free on goal. Lynch just got a fingertip on it. The referees say it went high. Perhaps Lynch got a touch. That may have been Renwick's best chance so far.
By far the Green's most clear-cut chance of the game. I know Renwick wants that one back. Hopefully she'll get more of those. That one needs to be in the net, but I know the Green will push on.
It has to give Coach Mewis a lot of confidence that this team just continues to create chances. Renwick has been a facilitator as the striker. And it just feels like that chance is coming. She keeps creating opportunities. Wenner goes down. Vermont Green wants a foul. They get it.
As solid as Laval has been, it's really hard to withstand the volume. And I like this change in the formation for the Green. I think it's going to bode well for them.
Purcell stands over the free kick. Michaels and Shea O'Malley there as well. She took over at left back for Giovanna Dionisio at half. The Indiana University product, O'Malley, her first big involvement. Floated towards the edge of the 18. Loose in the box. Not quite for Vermont Green. Laval cleared their lines for the moment. A little confusion, but Laval wised up to the situation first. The press is on. White navigates it and draws a foul. Goes against Jansen for the challenge from behind. With that, Laval will sub. 2 changes for Amro Radwan's side. Maya Maroli gets her first action. And we'll also get our first look at Mia Kachuni.
These are good early subs for Laval. You can start to see some of the heavy legs sitting in for some of their group.
As we approach the hour mark, still no goals between Vermont Green and Laval. But perhaps the substitutions are exactly what this match needs in order to spice up the attacks for either side. Two more attacking-oriented changes for Laval. Moroli and Kachuni, attacking-oriented midfielders. In fact, Kachuni can play on the wing as well, so an extra element for Laval. White plays a probing through ball, but Wenner was offside. Perhaps playing Wenner right behind Renwick has opened up a little more space for her to operate, and she's filling those channels in between the Laval defenders.
There's a pocket of space between the holding mid for Laval and their back line, and Wenner's finding it beautifully.
Dakari on the move herself, plays the ball through a little too far ahead of Jansen. Dubin hasn't been called upon much, but when Vermont Green have needed her, she has been every bit as good as they've needed. "30 minutes separate us from a penalty shootout unless either of these sides can break through. Vermont Green 0, Laval 0. An hour underway at Virtue Field. Michaels wins it back in Laval's side of the pitch. Led White just a little too much into the Vermont Green bench, in fact, for a throw-in. Still no changes in the run of play for Vermont Green in the second half. Dionisio did make way for O'Malley to start the second half, though. But as this match wears on, perhaps, Christie, you see some speedier players take advantage of some tired Laval legs, as we were discussing.
And it could be a great strategy to withhold some of your speed and just exaggerate those gaps even more by bringing in speed against those tired legs.
The press has been ever present for the Vermont Green side throughout. That's just the latest example to force Laval to reset with a throw. That's been very consistent. Coach Mewis, alongside her assistant Brad Agus, have worked on that in training. That's one of the easiest things you can teach really in any sport. Press is just all effort, and Vermont Green is giving that and then some tonight. One back in midfield. Renwick finds Wenner. Back through the middle of the pitch. Renwick through on goal. There is the moment. The first ever goal in the history of Vermont Green FC women's soccer, and it belongs to Neve Renwick.
Beautiful finish by Renwick. The crowd is so excited.
What a moment for this team, this community, this state. And they get that breakthrough with a beautiful through ball and an even better finish to match it.
You could feel it coming. Renwick's had so many opportunities, and she finally buries that one. Very calm, collected finish.
She had very little net to shoot out with Lynch cutting down the angle. But she goes top right corner, top bins finish. No goalkeeper can get to that.
And it'll be interesting now to see with this weight lifted of finally getting the goal that has been on their doorstep. It feels like this whole game, if we'll see Laval start to collapse a bit and the Greens start to put their foot on the gas.
And perhaps that shifts Laval's focus as well. You start to press even further up the pitch, trying for that equalizer, and it leaves you susceptible to the counter. And Vermont Green has the speed to turn those attacks on Laval's head. Here's Dekari searching for a response. Ran into Ross. And White completes the slight clearance for the moment, only as far as Kachuni. Renwick tracked back on defense. Vermont Green back on the ball. If opening up the Laval defense has been her biggest impact, playing the defensive forward role is not too far behind. Renwick wanted Ayer cutting into the middle, but Lynch off her line to pick up the through ball.
And it wasn't a bad look, just a lot of ground for Ayer to cover there, slicing in from that left midfield.
The new captain, Fournier, starts the next Laval move. Ikari switch snuffed out. O'Malley there. Little chaos in the middle of the pitch, but no problem for the Vermont back line. White in space as the crowd comes to life. Over the top. Too tall for Wenner. And Kachuni plays back for her goalkeeper, Lynch. The clearance only as far as Michaels. Renwick in the area. Touchdown, Ayer for Lynch. Before a handful of Laval defenders take the ball off her feet. That's really what it takes to slow down Renwick's momentum. Maybe not too much of a stretch to say she's getting the Lionel Messi treatment with converging defenders every time she touches the ball. The sub upcoming for Laval. Landers through, wanted Wenner, but the ball finds Lynch. At the next dead ball, Giuliana Faustini will come on for Laval as they chase the match. 1-0 Vermont Green thanks to Neve Renwick. A brilliant Emma Wenner through ball set her up, and then Renwick knocked the door down.
Not surprised at all to see those two combine on the game's only goal so far. They had a huge impact in the first half. Beautifully weighted pass by Wenner, and again, just a really classy finish.
A pair of subs in the offing for Vermont Green as well, and they take University of Vermont flavor. Jill Brody will re-enter, and Ella Bankert will make her first appearance at Virtue Field in 3 years.
And this will be very exciting for the fans to have this combo of Bankert and Brody entering the game. Bankert was the 2021 America East Midfielder of the Year, part of a championship squad, and just talk about weighted passes. Beautiful ability on those to be able to put Brody through.
Laval inside the box. Pair of passes doesn't get the intended result, and Vermont Green clear their lines for the moment. Renwick chests down the clearance, locks horns with Fournier, and comes away with the ball. Races past Bacardi as she waits for numbers. Over the top, looking for Wenner. Michaels in the area as well to handle the deflection. The referee plays advantage. Michaels on her left. Lynch makes the sprawling save to keep Vermont from going up by 2.
And you can see that technical ability of Michaels there just to get out of that pressure situation and create that shot. A beautiful shot makes the goalkeeper have to make a diving save, and they earn a corner out of it.
Wenner slipped, and it's not just that technical ability. Michaels' anticipation was on point as well to put that ball right on her left where she could get off a good curling effort. The subs wait as Michaels takes the corner. 68 minutes in at Virtue Field, Vermont Green aims to double their advantage. Michaels in towards the near post. Wenner chested it down, but didn't have the angle to turn and shoot. And the goal kick will bring Ella Bankert back onto the pitch. It's her Vermont reunion. Jill Brody back on the pitch as well. Maddie Landers and Brenna Michaels make way. Laval to substitute themselves. Ava Vespa returns to the fray. Joy Zeman and Giuliana Faustini get their first action. Lynch with the restarts. Brody immediately involved, a header to win it back. Went her along the near side. Kachuni marking her one-on-one, through ball, little too far for Bankerts.
Love these changes here from the green. They just got a jolt of speed out wide with Brody. And watch Ella Bankert carefully. She will cover every blade of grass on that field, a true box-to-box midfielder and a very technical player as well.
Bankert's story off the pitch is also really interesting. To touch on that for a moment, as Christy, you mentioned, one of the anchors of Vermont's America East Championship team, her final year in 2021, but since her graduation, she's stuck around. She's from Shrewsbury herself, and she currently works in the public sector. She's a public health inspector for the Vermont Department of Health. Laval on the attack. Lofted towards the edge of the 6. Evades Dubin. But White there to force Laval to have to operate with a corner. Laval needed a response, and they have done well after conceding the opening goal. That their best chance of the second half so far.
It was a dangerous ball in. Anytime you can get the goalkeeper backpedaling, it can turn into a dangerous situation very quickly.
Dekari to take the corner, one of two Laval players wearing the captain's armband right now. Floated towards the middle of the 6-yard box. Bodies go flying, but Laval forced back before Bankert cuts out the set piece. Renwick trying to spark the counter, but a picture-perfect slide tackle forces Vermont Green to slow things down. One thing I love about these Vermont soccer fans, whether they're supporting Vermont men's soccer, Vermont women's soccer, Vermont Green, they're a knowledgeable bunch. They can appreciate an excellent effort play when they see it.
They do, and if you've ever been to a match in Europe, it's a very similar feel. You can feel just the ebb and flow of the crowd as the plays escalate and fizzle out. Definitely a knowledgeable crowd and a good point. Just adds to the atmosphere.
Yeah, and the typhos certainly don't help. They don't hurt.
Right.
Maybe they don't help the opposition. They are an intimidating selection. The Green Mountain Boys have their signature skull and crossbones. They've been a fixture of this club ever since it began in 2022. No matter the match, no matter the conditions, and this was nearly going to be a rainy match by all indications leading up to the day, but fortunately Mother Nature has decided to cooperate. But they're always there.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I don't think it would have mattered if it was pouring rain and 50-mile-per-hour winds right now. They would be here full force.
They are a much stronger bunch than I. I don't think I've ever willingly sat through a match in pouring rain without some sort of cover. They don't get any on the far side.
It adds to their experience. There's probably some maple syrup in there, too.
Maple syrup, among other things. Speaking of maple syrup, we're just 18 minutes away from the full-time whistle. If the score holds, Vermont Green's woman of the match will have to participate in one of Vermont Green's most notable traditions. They have to chug a bottle of maple syrup. That's what you get for playing well.
It's teeing up right now that it might be Renwick, so that would be a very warm Vermont welcome.
For someone who said the thing she was most looking forward to was exploring a new part of the country, being from Sheffield, England, playing collegiately at Tennessee Tech. This is foreign land to her up in the Northeast, but the way she's been playing, she could make this home very quickly. Bankert wins it back in the Laval end, but Dekari's recovery keeps the counter from materializing. Here comes Brody to dispossess Dekari, who could not keep it in play.
This is going to get difficult for the Laval midfield with both Ross and Bankert in there. Bankert just covers so much ground. She's so physically fit, and she's relentless.
The Vermont Green clearance only as far as Laval in midfield. Through the middle, Dekari. Sliding challenge only knocks it forward for Faustini. Ross is there. Faustini wins it back. Left along for Gerber. She's one of many of these Laval players that play in the United States as well. Not quite a champion at Laval, but she has been, in her college ranks, won the 2022 MAC championship at Buffalo. She's looking to help Laval capture their first interprovincial championship this summer. Bailey Ayer tracked back that time to keep Laval from capitalizing on a brilliantly placed through ball. And Vermont Green settles things down for a goal kick as we approach the final quarter of an hour at Virtue Field. Renwick races on the other end of a clearance. Ayer close, bodied away, and Laval might be able to counter. Maya Maroli searching for her sister Mika, but no dice. The clearance only as far as Maya. At the edge of the box, Potties file up. Faustini's shot takes a deflection. Laval have themselves a corner.
Maya Maroli has been an excellent substitute for Laval. She's impacted the game right away here in the second half. She's smooth on the ball. She was just responsible for this play now with a corner. Fun player to watch.
St. Bonaventure will be happy to have her and her sister Mika in the fall. Mika transferring in. Maya committed to play her freshman season. Either way you can get those two, it's a deadly pair. Chloe Joseph. Out to the wing. Receives the ball right back. Joseph does. Through the middle of the park. Vermont Green clogging up the lane, but Laval has a chance. But well off the frame of goal. Took a deflection on its way there. At least it looked so initially. Laval was setting up for a corner, but the referees instead ruled for a goal kick.
And we'll see what type of leadership the Green can start to show here in this squad that really hasn't had much time to gel together. It appears that Laval's having more of the play the last few minutes, and the Green really need to win control pretty soon before they have an unlucky break.
These last 13 minutes plus stoppage time might favor Laval. As you mentioned, Vermont Green, only 3 training sessions in the build-up to this match. Laval is already in the throes of their Ligue 1 Quebec season, having played already 9 matches. This their 10th already. They're starting to gel. This is where, 1, the match fitness, and 2, the chemistry could pose problems for the Green.
And we'll see if they decide to put their foot on the gas and get a security goal, or if they decide to slow things down a little bit and try to outpossess Laval.
Brody gets tangled up. Juliana Faustini fouls her. Check that. The call went the other way. It looked initially like Brody had drawn the foul. Vermont Green certainly thought so. Laval tried to move quickly, but a little too quick for the referee's liking. It's been a clean game to this point. Very few hard fouls, as you would expect in a friendly. No cards. Don't have to worry about that in the most critical stages. Laval on the move as a centering pass finds its way to Faustini. Ushered ahead towards the edge of the box. But Vermont Green there to clear only as far as Joseph. Vermont Green is dropping back. 10 behind the ball as we speak, including the goalkeeper, Dubin. Brody comes up with the interception, and she sparks the counter by herself. Tries the long-range effort, but Lynch dives to keep it out. Christy, that could have sparked a little deja vu, a very similar angle to her game-winning goal in last year's America East Tournament quarterfinal against New Hampshire. Just couldn't quite get the line right that time.
It was a very similar situation, and I don't know, she may have been trying to slip through Renwick, and Renwick understandably fatigued.
If Renwick comes off the pitch, she is going to get a rousing ovation, that is for sure.
She sure is. She's had quite a game, responsible for so many of their opportunities, did her job, finished the one she needed to, and she's also put a lot of pressure on Laval's back line.
A defensive change is in the offing for Vermont Green. Giovanna Dionisio is set to re-enter. Perhaps this might be signaling a defensive intent to see this one through in the final 10 minutes. It's Dionisio for O'Malley, like for like. Dionisio will take over at left back. Just 10 minutes separate Vermont Green from a win in their first ever match. Still plenty of work to be done, though. Laval has found their footing after Renwick's opening score. Dekari. Into space, Joseph, as Laval established possession. Nice one-touch passing as they push forward. That last segment a little too strong in a Vermont Green throw-in.
That's a really important back pressure there by Bailey Eyre to make that pass not as easy. She ends up passing it out of bounds.
Of course, if you've been following along with this on social media, you already knew this, but our MC, Tom Proctor, just announced it to the crowd. This is a sellout, and this match has certainly felt like one. The fans have been on their feet in full throat since well before this match kicked off, and they might just be rewarded with 3 points themselves.
You could feel the energy as everyone was filtering into the stadium, the excitement leading up to the game, both on social media and just in the community. A lot of buzz.
Safe to say this event has lived up to the hype, and when Vermont Green form their full women's team, whenever that may be, and by all indications, it feels like that'll be much sooner rather than later, these fans are going to show up, and they are going to get a great product. Kachuni through the middle of the park, Dekari, as they pass to feet, but the vital interception might spring a Vermont counter. Renwick gets on the other end of a through ball, but she was well offside.
Unfortunate timing there. Would have loved to see Renwick bend that run a little bit more. Ross also had Bankert running through. Could have been a potential very deadly 2v1 for the Green.
A double sub for Laval. Mika Maroli comes back on, as does Lorianne Moyse. Laval need a goal if they want to send this game to penalties, or perhaps even find that quick-fire double to steal a result to hand Vermont Green their first ever loss in their first ever match. Pressure off the free kick forces Laval back. Emma Wenner, like Niamh Renwick, has been excellent in her defensive duties playing up front. Referees changed their call. It is, in fact, a Vermont Green throw. So the backside pressure results in a change of possession. And Vermont Green can organize themselves a little bit further up the pitch. Laval got set for a throw. They didn't realize it right away, but possession belongs to the Green. Brody runs into traffic. She was last to touch it. Just 6 minutes and stoppage time to go at Virtue Field. Vermont Green can taste the result. Neve Renwick's goal remains the only one tonight, and that could be enough. Christy, it still feels like there are a couple good chances left in this match the way both teams have been attacking.
It does, and it seems like... There's Renwick again. It seems like the Green definitely are going to get a few more chances, and it'll be interesting to see who it's going to be. Renwick seems to be slowing down just a bit, although she still does possess a lot of speed. But I love where Wenner's playing right now, and Ross and Banker have just been absolute dogs in the holding mid, just cleaning up all those scraps.
Speaking of Wenner, at the edge of the 18, her low cross deflected out. Vermont Green incensed by the call. They thought it was a corner, but instead a goal kick and a sub upcoming at the next opportunity. Carolina Espinosa will return. Came off the bench in the first half and will do the same to help Coach Sam Mewis and this Vermont Green side see this one over the line. Over the top, Moyes gets her chest to it. Didn't dead it enough as Vermont Green wins possession back through Ayer. As that left winger, like Wenner and Renwick, her defensive responsibilities have been massive, and she has performed them as well as you could expect.
When we get into the waning minutes here of the game, every player needs to defend. So we'll see what the mentality is of the Green to hold this lead.
In these last 4 minutes plus, perhaps Laval's attacking philosophy changes. You're running out of time, you're running out of chances. You don't exactly have the liberty of playing football the way you would think. Yvonne goes down in the box. No thought to whistle for a penalty, despite her protests.
That looked close, and the Green might have been fortunate there.
Curling shot effort, Vespa. Strong hands, Dubin. Vespa got off the snapshot with little room, but Dubin's safe hands come to the rescue to keep this a 1-0 match. Vermont Green's defense went to sleep a little bit there. Dubin remained focused, though.
Really important play by Dubin, and she's been just super solid all game. Very impressed with her.
In the middle of the park, Faustini. Over the top, wanted Moyes. But it's deflected back for Maya Maroli. Here comes Vermont Green to force Laval backwards, but the ball finds its way to Kachuni. Through the middle of the park, hit off of Vespa's shoulder and clear. Whistle goes, Renwick commits the foul. We'll see if Espinosa is able to enter. The head referee has not yet acknowledged her substitution. They will allow Laval to take this free kick. Espinosa's been waiting for a few minutes to re-enter. Joseph floats it into the box. The only one there to take it. Once again, it's Dubin. Perhaps I might be getting a little ahead of myself, but I would figure Espinosa would prompt a formation change as well. A couple options to replace her on the pitch. And perhaps at the top of the list of potential substitutes could be Neve Renwick.
Espinosa is a midfielder for Peter Kim down in Middlebury, and he describes her as a very smooth, technical player. I believe she was in the holding midfield in the first half, so it could be a straight swap. But we'll see what happens. Wenner and Renwick both have logged a lot of minutes, as well as Ross.
It'll come at the end of this move, though, potentially. Maroli couldn't control the moist pass. And Vermont Green are on the counter. Wenner through the middle of the park, Renwick, but the lineswomen right on it. Another offside against Renwick.
Love that play with Bankert and Wenner, and again, Renwick a few steps offside. Love to see her curve that run. She's put in so much work today.
So it is a defensive-minded change as Espinosa enters. She takes over for Jill Brody. We're getting official word at the end of this chance. Moise! Laval have the equalizer. The quick ball over the top resulted in a flash chance, and it's the Cal State Fullerton Titan to level proceedings. Vermont Green went to sleep defensively, and Moise was there to make them pay.
And we'll get an opportunity to see how the Green respond here. Those one-goal leads late in the game can become so dangerous.
We will have 4 minutes of added time. If neither team can find a winner, penalties will do that. That just really is a crushing blow for Vermont Green. They were so close to a 1-0 win, but they're going to have to refocus. The crowd, though, as intense as ever, they want to do their part to push Vermont Green to find that winner in regulation.
And again, leadership. We know this group hasn't been together long. Again, only a few days, but the Green, neither team wants any silly fouls or to give up anything cheap in these last few minutes.
All it takes is one decision, one action to determine the result late. Perhaps at this point in the match, Christy, to piggyback of what you're saying, just make sure it's not you who makes the big mistake.
If everyone makes sure it's not them, then it should go well.
In theory.
In theory.
Stranger things have happened in the game of soccer for sure. Moise, a nifty touch for Yvonne in space. White closing her down low, cross. Quinn right there to intercept. Yvonne the second chance. Not close to net. Dubin there as she scrambles to collect the loose ball. Neve Renwick opened the scoring just before the hour mark. And just moments ago, Lorianne Moise off the bench leveled proceedings for Laval as we just got the announcement for how much stoppage time we would have. Could not have timed it any better. Vermont Green a foul. They continue to press, but that slows their roll.
Unfortunate foul there given up by Bailey Eyre. It didn't look like much, but the official was right there, so she could have had her hand on her back.
Perhaps Coach Mewis has a couple decisions to make coming up. We're just 2 minutes away if neither team can find a winner from a penalty shootout. That might not matter if Laval converts. Moise. From range, Gerber's shot snuffed out. The danger still present, though, for the Green. Faustini sees the ball into touch. Laval a throw. To be completely honest, I'm not 100% the shootout rules. I don't know if you have your entire squad to draw from, but it's always been, to me, a very interesting debate. Do you pick your takers, or do you let the takers pick themselves?
Yeah, I think that's a coaching decision for sure. So a lot of times players will step up. If they want it, they will step up. So a lot of coaches tend to go with people that want to. But there's other times where there's leaders on your team that haven't necessarily been in that situation, and you know that they'll come through.
Vermont Green wants to make that a moot point, though. Here is Espinosa, the newest sub. Ayer in front of the fans retreats. Perhaps one more chance for Vermont Green before penalties. It falls to Laval. All eyes on the referee as the clock continues to tick. A foul As White goes down, or rather Dionisio goes down, Vermont Green a free kick. And they can organize for one last look at Melina Lynch's goal. It's thumped forward. Dealt with, but only as far as Ross. Over the top, looking for Wenner. It's headed into Wenner's path. A collision in the box. No penalty. Vermont Green thought they would have the call, but the referee swallows her whistle and we play on.
Beautiful ball by Ross. Just floats right in behind the back line for Wenner. And
there is the final whistle. It will take penalty kicks to determine a winner tonight. We take a look at that last ball through. Definitely contact between Lynch and Wenner. Christy, I think that could go either way, but the referees decided to rule no foul.
She definitely got a piece of Wenner. It looked like a fair challenge to me. I think if you're the official in this situation, you don't necessarily want this to be the deciding factor.
Vermont Green could not close it out in regulation, but they will have a second chance with a penalty shootout. Coach Mewis looks like she is selecting her takers. We'll see exactly who has the nerves to step up and rise to the occasion when we come back. The penalty shootout between Vermont Green and Laval coming up next. This is Vermont Green FC Soccer.
Human nature's ability to contain itself is questionable. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th Generation's bio-based detergent goes deep to help break apart and wash away tough stains. That's the power of 7th Generation.
It's up to spot kicks to determine a winner at Virtue Field. Both Vermont Green and Laval scored in the second half. Laval doing so right at the edge of the 90-minute mark. And Christy, this just feels like the most exciting end to the first ever Vermont Green women's match you could possibly imagine.
It really is. The fans have shown up all night. They've gotten to see 2 great goals, and now they're here for some free soccer.
The 2 captains just had the coin toss to determine who goes first. I'm not entirely sure who won just yet, but what we do know is that both teams will be shooting at the end nearest to Gutterson Fieldhouse to our left. Christy, as a coach, I'm sure you've been in this situation multiple times, making sure your players are ready for a PK shootout. What's your message to your 11 here?
We just try to stay loose and to keep the players loose. They already feel enough pressure as it is, so I honestly just try to make jokes and get them laughing and just have as much confidence in them as I can, and they take care of the rest.
Laval will go first. Olivia Dubin gets to make the first move in goal for Vermont Green. The first penalty taker approaches for Laval. And it looks like it will be Mika Maroli.
And we are about to see all sorts of different strategies here for penalties. Some shooters like to make the goalkeeper make a move and go right down the middle. Others know exactly where they're going to go, and they're going to stick to that. Some like to place it in the corner, and some will smash it. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of different strategies here.
Maroli has the honor of getting this PK shootout started. Safe to say everyone in this building has their eyes on Maroli.
We have another crowd growing behind the goal.
That can only help the green. Maroli gets the go-ahead. Dubin guessed right. Maroli just a little too much pace on it.
And that's just a perfect penalty, perfectly placed. Nothing Dubin can do about that one. A great start for Laval puts pressure on the green right away.
Brenna Michaels is the first for Vermont Green. This might be one of the more important spot kicks in this entire shootout. You want to keep pace. Michaels is ready. It's off frame. She beat Lynch, but could not get her PK on frame.
And there right away with the first two kickers, we see the two different strategies of placement versus power.
Placement wins out for now, but still just one kick in for either side. Mika Maroli converted. Brenna Michaels not so lucky.
And these shootouts can be so mental. All it takes is one kick here for Laval wide of the goal, or one great save for Dubin, and the green are right back in it.
Vespa is next.
Very
2-0.
calm. Very calm.
One of the youngest players in this Laval team steps up in one of the biggest moments, and it was not too big for her at all. Ella Bankert steps up for Vermont Green. Perfectly placed.
Beautifully placed by Bankert. She just shows her experience there. Very
Laval
calm.
turned to their youngest shooter, Vermont Green to their oldest. Same results, 2-1 Laval.
Great response from the green.
The Vermont Green bench continues to cheer on their keeper, Liv Dubin, calling her Liv, in fact, just to pump her up. Jasmine Gerber for Laval, the third taker. It's off frame.
And there it is. They're right back in it.
Gerber beat Dubin, but too much power on the shot. Vermont Green can pull level right here. It's up to Shay O'Malley to do just that. The first left-footed shooter for Vermont Green. 2-2.
Beautifully executed by O'Malley. So much pressure on that kick. And I think it works in their advantage that that was the first lefty that they've seen. It just has a different feel for the goalkeeper.
The third round of penalties might have just swung the momentum. Laval went up 2-0 through their first two kicks. But Vermont Green have stormed back. And now Olivia Dubin is employing a little gamesmanship herself as Lorianne Moyse approaches the spot.
And that finish is just enough to take a little bit of confidence away from Laval. And that, if you're the green, that's what you want.
The crowd comes to life as Moyse approaches the spot. Neatly done. Dubin guessed right, but Keene slots it in the side netting and lets Dubin know about it. Gave her a wave on her way back to join her teammates at midfield. The pressure is on Giovanna Dionisio. The Yale graduate spent her final year playing at UConn, a Dominican Republic international. She has been on the biggest stage, but will that experience come through? Dionisio. Right down Broadway. 3-3. And now she's firing up the crowd.
Love that response. Trying to pump the energy into the crowd, into the team. I think sometimes the crowd takes on the same nerves.
Sometimes the riskiest spot kick is right down the middle. But Dionisio was right on it. Down to the 5th round. At this point forward, it's essentially all sudden death. Even. Calmly done. Jean Even, as cool as you like. Vermont Green need to score or Laval comes away with the win.
And it's Renwick. We'll see if she can come up with her second big moment of the night.
It was Renwick's goal that opened the scoring. She is in need of a repeat effort to keep this match going. Renwick. We play on.
She wants that maple syrup.
I think whether or not Vermont Green wins, she's got that in her back pocket.
Fans are getting their money's worth tonight, that's for sure.
We are on to sudden death. Laval and Vermont Green both went 4 for their first 5. Who blinks first? We saw Mika Maroli earlier. Now here's her sister Maya. Dubin saves!
Huge save by Dubin.
Maroli wanted to go down the middle. Dubin read her like a book. Vermont Green is 1 penalty away from their first ever victory. And it's up to a Middlebury College player, one of the 7 that attend school in the state of Vermont. Roshan Purcell has the game on her right foot.
And the crowd knows it.
Purcell. It's over! Vermont Green win their first ever women's match in style. The historic night ends with the cinematic victory. Christy Huizenga, you cannot write this script any better.
Just a beautiful end to a beautiful night. You really can't script this any better, as you said. This crowd is electric. The team is on fire. The coaching staff is on fire. Laval showed up to play tonight. So did the Green. Just tremendous outcome for, again, a group that's only been together for 3 days.
It just feels like a fairy tale. This team had so little time to go from the match being established to putting a team together to training. And now they get the result they've worked so hard for. As the rain comes down, the fans salute their ladies. A penalty shootout win, 5-4 in 6 rounds.
And again, for Sam Mewis, it's another thing that she's been a part of that ends in winning. Everything she touches, they win.
She moved to Vermont earlier this year because she wanted to make a difference in this state. Safe to say she's done just that.
Oh, she's already done that and more. Just the players just win or lose this game, to have had the experience to interact with Sam says everything. And for all these young players in this community to be able to see these women in this light tonight with this crowd and this support says everything. And looking forward to 2025. Yeah.
Whether it's another friendly, because Vermont Green have stated they will play at least one women's friendly every year until they put together a full season team. Whether it's a friendly next year or whether it's their first foray either into the Women's Premier Soccer League or USLW, I think this crowd just showed this state has an appetite for women's soccer. This is a game that will draw the fans. It'll draw the young girls that have something to dream about.
And they can see it now. They have the college. They have the access to the college games, and this just gives them another step. It shows them that there's something to aspire to.
We mentioned this even before the broadcasts. If Vermont Green gets the result on the pitch, they actually win twice. They won even before they took the field. They won even before they got together for their first training session. They get to carry the mantle of semi-professional women's soccer in the state of Vermont, perhaps one of the best soccer states in the entire country. And they continue to show.
The win is the icing on the cake for them. Just, again, speaking with the players before the game, being a part of this special experience and being etched in history in this game with Coach Sam Mewis is just an unforgettable experience and something that they're going to carry with them for their whole lives.
This is just so invaluable. You learn so much about the game from a person like her, but even more so about the game of life. The lessons you learn through this process, through your entire soccer career, that goes with you wherever you go.
And I think that's a good point for someone. One of the most dreaded things that could happen to an athlete is injury and having your career cut short due to injury. And we talk a lot as coaches about when adversity happens, whether it's injury or something else, how you respond is what's most important. And for Sam Mewis to have her career, I'm sure, cut shorter than she would have liked, to respond by having this massive platform that she created with the women's game and giving all these women and these young girls this opportunity to be a part of this. What a great role model to show how you respond.
And guess what? She's not going anywhere. She's on the advisory committee alongside you as Vermont Green FC Women's continues their young journey. She will be a part of that, and she has a ton of wisdom to impart on whoever takes the field the next time this team lines up.
That's right, and we can see now the players just immersed in the crowd, just such a special thing about the green, and here come the kids.
That's what it's all about.
This is all such a huge part of it, to have the access, to have direct access to these players that you aspire to, and just watched blood, sweat, and tears on the field to be able to interact with them.
And here they come. They get to bask in the glory of the moment, and with that, we say goodnight. An entertaining match that went the distance. 1-1, but Vermont Green downs Laval 5-4 in a penalty shootout. Christy Huizenga, this was just an incredible night, and I feel very fortunate to have shared it with you. An excellent job in the booth tonight.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Well done to you as well. Thanks, everyone who tuned in, and very special night for the Green.
For our exceptional production crew with the Northeast Sports Network, for my partner in crime tonight, Christy Huizenga, I'm Ryan Zimmerman. This has been the first ever production of Vermont Green FC women's soccer. And either way it happens, whether it's a friendly, whether it's the WPSL, whether it's USLW, we will see you next year.
The sauce.
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I got the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
Human nature is a master at making a big mess. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th generation Safer Choice certified dish formula helps remove stuck-on food with one unstoppable pack. That's the power of 7th generation.